Hurricane Helene. In September 2024, Helene tore a path of devastation across 6 states, leaving behind shattered lives and ruined communities. Helene slammed into Florida's Big Bend as a record-breaking Category 5 hurricane. Coastal towns were swallowed by storm surge, and homes were reduced to rubble. Helene churned northward, leaving a trail of destruction across Georgia and the Carolinas. The storm's massive wind field continued to batter the region, while torrential rains unleashed catastrophic flooding. Rivers and creeks overflowed, swallowing homes and businesses. Over 100 lives were lost, a grim testament to the storm's raw power. In the wake of Helene's fury, the nation grappled with the enormity of the disaster. The storm underscored the importance of hurricane preparedness. Weeks after Helene dissipated, communities faced power outages, fuel shortages, and the daunting task of rebuilding. This is a call to action to recognize the very real threat posed by hurricanes and to take proactive steps to prepare. Several factors coalesced to make Hurricane Helene the monster it became. The primary fuel for Helene's explosive growth was the unusually warm water in the Gulf of Mexico. Helene's massive size and torrential rainfall proved to be one of its deadliest aspects, particularly for those living far inland. Hurricane Helene's impact was felt far beyond the immediate coastline. As Helene moved inland, it carried vast stores of moisture, leading to torrential rainfall. The mountainous regions of western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee were particularly hard hit, receiving rainfall totals exceeding 20 inches. Even communities far from the coast, like Asheville, North Carolina, experienced the wrath of Helene. One of the most alarming aspects of Hurricane Helene was its ability to maintain its intensity even after moving inland. This unusual staying power was due to the brown ocean effect. The saturated ground created conditions similar to those found over a warm ocean, prolonging Helene's lifespan. The brown ocean effect had devastating consequences for inland communities, leading to extended periods of flooding and landslides. For coastal residents, the approach of a hurricane is a call to action. Securing property, protecting windows and doors, and preparing for power outages are crucial steps. High winds can transform everyday objects into deadly projectiles. Boarding up windows and reinforcing doors can help keep the elements at bay. Having a well-stocked emergency kit is essential. While hurricane-force winds garner much attention, storm surge poses the greatest threat to coastal communities. Helene produced a record-breaking storm surge along Florida's Big Bend region. The surge, combined with high tides and heavy rainfall, caused catastrophic flooding. Understanding your evacuation zone is crucial for coastal residents. The decision to evacuate one's home during a hurricane can be life or death. Evacuation orders are issued based on the hurricane's projected path, intensity, and potential for storm surge. When an evacuation order is issued, it is crucial to have a plan in place. Packing important documents, medications, and an emergency kit is essential. Do not forget to bring your emergency kit. While coastal areas face the brunt of a hurricane's fury, inland communities are far from immune. One of the most significant dangers for inland communities is the threat of flooding, particularly flash flooding. The speed and intensity of these flash floods often catch residents off guard. Landslides pose a significant threat to inland communities in mountainous regions. Inland residents must also prepare for hurricanes. Familiarize yourself with local flood risk and have a plan for seeking higher ground. Creating a disaster preparedness kit is essential. Securing your property and preparing for potential power outages are crucial steps. Having a backup power source, such as a generator, can be invaluable. Section 3. Staying informed. Your lifeline during a storm. In the midst of a hurricane, information is power. Staying informed about the storm's track, intensity, and potential impact is crucial for making life-saving decisions.
Fortunately, we live in an age where weather information is readily available from a variety of sources, empowering individuals to take control of their safety and make informed choices. The National Hurricane Center, or NHC, is the gold standard for hurricane information. Their website and social media channels provide up-to-the-minute updates on hurricane development, track forecasts, and potential impacts.
The NHC also issues watches and warnings, providing residents with critical lead time to prepare and evacuate if necessary. Local news outlets are another invaluable source of information during a hurricane.
Local meteorologists provide hyperlocal forecasts, tailored to the specific threats facing your community. They also offer crucial context, explaining the potential impacts of the storm and providing guidance on how to stay safe.
In today's digital age, smartphone apps have become indispensable tools for hurricane tracking and preparedness. Apps like Hurricane Tracker, MyRadar Weather Radar, and FEMA offer real-time storm tracking, severe weather alerts, and valuable information on shelters, evacuation routes, and disaster preparedness tips.
However, it is essential to be discerning about the information you consume during a hurricane. Social media, while a valuable tool for connecting with loved ones and sharing information, can also be a breeding ground for misinformation and rumors. Stick to trusted sources like the NHC, local news outlets, and official government websites for the most accurate and reliable information.
Section 1. A warming world intensifying storms. As the floodwaters receded and the debris was cleared, a crucial question lingered in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Was this a taste of things to come? The storm's unprecedented intensity and widespread impact forced a reckoning with the uncomfortable reality of climate change and its role in fueling more extreme weather events.
Scientists have long warned that a warming world would lead to more intense hurricanes, and Helene provided a stark illustration of these predictions coming to pass. The link between climate change and hurricane intensification lies in the fundamental physics of these powerful storms. Hurricanes are heat engines, drawing their energy from the warmth of tropical ocean waters.
As greenhouse gas emissions continue to trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere, ocean temperatures are rising, providing hurricanes with more fuel to power their fury. Warmer waters lead to faster wind speeds, as more heat energy is converted into the kinetic energy of the storm's circulation.
This means that hurricanes are now capable of reaching higher categories on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale, packing winds strong enough to level entire communities and cause catastrophic damage. But it is not just wind speeds that are increasing. Warmer air also holds more moisture, meaning that hurricanes are now capable of producing more rainfall.
This increased rainfall, often exacerbated by slower-moving storms, leads to more widespread and severe flooding, as was tragically witnessed during Hurricane Helene. Section 2. The fingerprint of climate change. In the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Helene, scientists began the painstaking work of disentangling the storm's natural variability from the influence of human-caused climate change. These rapid attribution studies, while complex, provide valuable insights into the role of climate change in specific extreme weather events.
One such study, conducted by an international team of researchers, found that human-induced climate change made the extreme rainfall experienced during Hurricane Helene significantly more likely. The study estimated that climate change increased the intensity of the storm's rainfall by at least 50% in some areas, meaning that the devastating floods that ravaged inland communities were made far worse by human activities.
The study's findings were both alarming and unsurprising. They underscored the profound impact that human activities are having on the Earth's climate system and the increasing risks we face from extreme weather events.
While it is impossible to say with certainty that Hurricane Helene would not have occurred without climate change, the evidence strongly suggests that the storm was made far more destructive by a warming world. The fingerprint of climate change was also evident in Helene's rapid intensification.
As the storm churned over the unusually warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, it gained strength at an alarming rate, transforming from a relatively weak hurricane into a monstrous Category 4 storm in just a matter of days. This rapid intensification, a phenomenon becoming increasingly common in recent years, is consistent with what scientists expect to see as ocean temperatures continue to rise. Section 3. Preparing for a future of extremes. Hurricane. Helene served as a wake-up call, a stark reminder that the era of climate change is upon us. As the planet continues to warm, we can expect to see more extreme weather events like Helene, testing our resilience and demanding a fundamental shift in how we prepare for and adapt to a future of increasing climate risks.
The first step in preparing for a future of more intense hurricanes is to acknowledge the reality of climate change and its role in exacerbating these events. We can no longer afford to view climate change as a distant threat or a problem for future generations to solve. It is here, it is now, and it is impacting us in profound ways.
This acknowledgement must be met with urgent action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and mitigate the worst impacts of climate change. Transitioning to a clean energy economy, investing in energy efficiency, and protecting our forests are all essential steps in this effort. The longer we wait to act, the more severe the consequences will be.
But mitigation alone is not enough. We must also adapt to the changes that are already underway. This means investing in more resilient infrastructure, strengthening our early warning systems, and preparing our communities for the impacts of more frequent and intense hurricanes. Building codes must be updated to withstand stronger winds and higher floodwaters. Evacuation routes must be improved and expanded to accommodate a growing population at risk.
And perhaps most importantly, we must invest in educating our communities about the risks of climate change and empowering them to take action to protect themselves and their families. Section 1. The Deluge. Preparing for inland flooding. As Hurricane Helene so tragically demonstrated, the threat of flooding extends far beyond the coast. Inland communities, often unaccustomed to the ferocity of hurricane-induced rainfall, can find themselves overwhelmed by flash floods and riverine flooding, events that unfold with terrifying speed and devastating consequences.
Preparing for the deluge is not merely an act of caution, it's a necessity for safeguarding lives and property. The first line of defense is awareness. Familiarize yourself with flood zones in your area. FEMA's flood maps, available online, provide detailed information about areas at risk of flooding during different types of weather events. Knowing your elevation relative to nearby bodies of water is critical, as even seemingly small increases in water level can have a significant impact.
Once you understand your risk, develop a flood preparedness plan. This plan should include multiple evacuation routes, as primary roads can quickly become impassable during flash floods. Identify safe havens on higher ground, such as friends' homes or community shelters, and communicate these locations to family members.
Stocking up on essential supplies is crucial. A 3-day supply of non-perishable food and water per person, along with a first aid kit, battery-powered radio, flashlights, and extra batteries, should be readily accessible in a waterproof container. Medications, copies of important documents, and a change of clothing are also essential additions to your emergency kit.
Section 2. When the lights go out. Navigating power. Outages. Power outages are a near certainty during and after a hurricane. Preparing for a power outage is about more than just stocking up on candles and flashlights. Ensure you have alternative ways to stay informed. If you rely on medical equipment, arrange for backup power. Consider a portable generator, but never operate it indoors. Food safety is paramount during a power outage. Keep your refrigerator and freezer doors closed. Store a gallon of water per person per day. The long road ahead. Hurricane Helene reminds us of nature's destructive power and the growing threat of climate change. Its legacy shapes our future preparedness and response. Flooded neighborhoods and displaced families urge us to embrace resilience. The 2024 season's early storms highlight the urgency. Climate change means more frequent, intense hurricanes. We must adapt and prepare. Know your risks, make a plan, and stay informed. Invest in resilient infrastructure and early warning systems. Transition to clean energy to combat climate change. Resilience, innovation, and compassion offer hope. Learn from Hurricane Helene and build a safer future.